the United stand. Paul Pogba potentially holding up Manchester United transfers. That is the headline we'll be talking about tonight. We've also got an update from Dybala, interesting development around De Ligt, and 3 players that Mourinho bought that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to move on this summer. We'll also talk a little bit about, well, let's just talk about Man City right now. The press absolutely live right up the arse of Manchester City. They absolutely do. We all know this, and it's boring, and they never shut up about it, and they're trying to call it a treble. As I said on Twitter, this treble is a domestic treble by Manchester City. It's like getting drunk at home and pretending you've been out. No European element to your treble, no party. End of story. It's a B-Tech treble. It's not. It doesn't matter. Even Liverpool could argue that their treble is better than Man City's. It's crap. Absolute crap. I'm not having this Man City mentioned anywhere near the Manchester United treble side, even the Invincibles, the Chelsea side. Forget about it. It's a B-Tech treble. It's the easiest FA Cup run I've ever bloody seen. The Carabao Cup, you can wipe your arse on, and they won the league. Fair enough. They won the league. I'll give them that. But let's talk about Manchester United. That's what we're here to do. We've actually got a fan base. So, here we go. So, the story about Paul Pogba revolves around this, that it came from French sources this morning that Manchester United are interested in Tanguy and Ndombele of Lyon as a midfielder for Manchester United. I think I've said it in the past. I think a lot of you have said it as well. He'd be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. And, he would just be a very good signing. But the story coming out is that Manchester United, Real Madrid, Spurs and PSG have apparently tabled offers for Ndombele, and Mbappe is trying to get him to go to PSG. United haven't apparently put any offer in yet because they're waiting to see what's going to happen with Paul Pogba. Well, look, snooze you lose. Snooze you lose. Like, Ndombele is wanted by a lot of good teams, and Juventus thought they were going to get a clear run at it, but there are other clubs entering the fray for him now. Manchester United, if they want Ndombele, go and get Ndombele. You can't wait on Paul Pogba. And this concerns me a little bit if there's any element of truth in this, because I think actually the story makes a lot of sense. Manchester United don't want to sell Paul Pogba. He's not for sale. But if Paul Pogba comes back from his break and pushes the move, then United might have to sell him and then look at a replacement. Well, Pogba might not decide he's leaving till the end of June. And Ndombele's future will be sorted out by then. And also, why would Manchester United have to wait for Pogba to go to sign Ndombele? Pogba is a more of his best positions as a more advanced midfielder. Ndombele plays most of his games box to box or CDM. He is not an advanced midfielder. So surely Ndombele would complement Paul Pogba. It shouldn't be a case of if Pogba's going, we can get Ndombele, because that can only be to do with price. Ndombele would not be a direct replacement for Paul Pogba. Bruno Fernandes would be more like that because he's more of an attacking midfielder. The interesting thing is that Lyon apparently want £88 million for Ndombele, €100 million, which, to be honest with you, is massively overpriced, and there's no way Spurs will pay that, so they're out the equation. We possibly would pay it, but he's not worth £88 million. So on that point, if there's any truth in that, I would be a little bit concerned. But the Pogba thing is interesting. I don't think Manchester United want to sell Pogba. I think we all know that. But we can't wait for Pogba to stay or go. I wouldn't, if Pogba said, I'm off on holiday, I'll tell you what I feel like when I come back, I'd sort of be saying, look, Paul, that's not good enough. We've had a really weird year with you. You've had 2 great months where you were fantastic. You started the season backstabbing the manager and leaking stuff to the press, and we thought you were going to go. Then Ollie came in and everyone thinks you're going to stay. Then we back in the Emmerdale Cup and everyone thinks you're going again. What are you going to do? No thinking about it on holiday. What are you going to do? Because we've got a 3-year contract. If you want to go, tell us now. If you're going to think about it, I'll tell you now, Paul, you're not going anywhere, because we've got a 3-year contract and you can try all the rebellious crap you like, but you're staying. Tell us now if you're going. If you think you're thinking about it, forget about it. And we've got the power to do that. We've just got to be strong. New member, welcome Suleiman Sabali. But you know what I mean. Newest member of the Outstand Members Club. Welcome, mate. But you know what I mean. Like, why are we waiting on Paul Pogba? He's got 3 years left on his contract. 2 years of the contract and a year extension. We don't have to sell. Of course, if a player comes back from their holidays and they're like, I want to go, I'm going to cause loads of trouble, that's a problem. But he could tell us that now. We have got to get this summer right. And we need to know. You need to go into this summer knowing if Paul Pogba's going to be here in August or whether he's not going to be here in August. We can't afford to be, let's have a see how he feels, chucking his sun lotion on and, maybe gets a bit of sand in it, gets irritated. I want to go back to Madrid. I want to go to Madrid. I don't give a shit. We need to know now. And the Ndombele thing, to be honest with you, I don't really believe it, because I don't see why we wouldn't be going for Ndombele anyway. I don't see him as a Pogba replacement. So it's quite interesting. But I would like us to be signing somebody of the quality of Ndombele. We need to attack more than defence at the moment, says Jack Clarkson. You know Woodward isn't competent enough to handle Pogba, says Yankee Wiz. How do I become a member, says Ewan Welsh? There should be a join button at the bottom. Thomas Partey would be a fantastic signing, Amel Shahal. Pogba don't want to stay in United. Sell him for 180 million, says Ill United. I want him to stay, but if he wants to go, he can jump on his bike, says Azariah Jada. I think a lot of people feel like that about it. If Pogba wants to stay, I wouldn't sell him. If Pogba wants to go, then I would sell him. I don't want Pogba here, but I think he will be here for next season just, says Gaz Elliott. Again, I would say if Pogba's only staying for another year, go now. There's no longevity in that. There's no point in Pogba staying if he's planning on going in a year's time. If Pogba says, look, I'll stay for another year, but I'm not signing a new contract, I'd just get rid of him now. The interesting thing about that is, does anybody want Pogba now with 3 years left on his contract? Does anyone want to pay £150 million for Pogba? We all go, if he wants to go, let him go. But actually, who would buy him? He's not, this goes back to all those people who live up his backside. You think he's this great midfielder. He had a mixed season at best, and that's being polite. I think Zidane wants him because he thinks he can get the best out of him. But other than that, is anyone really? I think Liverpool would like Pogba. I really do. But I don't think anyone would pay £150 million for him, and that's what we need to get. So, there is that side to the coin as well. Just sticking with Pogba, staying for the moment. Kartik Srinsvasan has made a contribution, thank you. Dybala, who is friends with Pogba, his brother is his agent, and he has come out and said that, it's looking like he's going to move, he could do with a change. The Dybala deal terrifies me. Manchester United signing Dybala really terrifies me. It's not a deal that excites me at all. Again, as I said before, if we sign Alderweireld, if we sign Gareth Bale, if we sign Toni Kroos, if we sign some of these players I don't think we should sign, of course I will back them. But Dybala does terrify me. Very, very inconsistent. Not really a hungry fighter sort of player. I don't think he's what we need. And it terrifies me that we might go and do a deal like that. It's just not the signing that we need. But it's looking like he's going to leave Juventus, even though Juventus have changed their manager. Maybe they'll have a change of heart. With De Ligt, the interesting thing about De Ligt that I was reading today, looking at some Spanish reports, because obviously that's where he's expected to go, the issue with Barcelona is that De Ligt wants to go to Barcelona because most Dutch players do, and they've got a great record, and obviously he spoke about Johan Cruyff. That was the biggest hint for me when he's talking about Johan Cruyff in his speech the other day. Obviously Johan Cruyff's got a big impact on Ajax, but he's also got a big impact on Barcelona, and his good mate De Jong's gone there. I think De Ligt wants to go to Barcelona. I think he will end up there. But the reason there's talk of United and other clubs at the moment is because De Ligt wants a better deal from Barcelona, and Barcelona are digging their feet in a little bit. But they will get him. He's too good. He is too good. I just don't think United can get anywhere near him. If we pulled De Ligt off, not literally, but although many would consider it, it would be a fantastic signing. He's an amazing young lad, and the leadership as well. He would be amazing, but we're not in the position to bring him in. I think even if we were Man City, you couldn't get him. Barcelona have got him absolutely perfectly. Welcome to Kate Zahn, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. What do I think about Bale? Says Jake Rogers. I just think he's the Welsh Alexis Sanchez. I think he's coming up for 30. He's injury prone. He's looking for one big payday. I mean, is that, forget Gareth Bale for the moment. Is that what we want as Manchester United fans? Players who are coming towards the end of their career, injury prone, not hungry anymore, just want a big payday. How does that fit in with what Solskjaer is apparently going to build and what we know we need to build? We need to build a new team over a number of years. We need hunger, we need talent. That's not players who are around 30. They've had their careers basically. They're coming to United for one reason, and we've made that mistake a lot over the last 6 years. That's not what we should be looking at. So Bale, for me, is not right. Lars Christensen says Pogba is worth £70 million max. You're totally wrong, mate. You've got to at least double it, I'm afraid. Whatever you think about Pogba, he's worth way more than 120 million comfortably. Will Rashford be our number one striker next year, says Sean Byrne. At the moment, and welcome to Birdie, the latest member of the United Stand Member Club. He shouldn't be. I mean, look, Rashford. There was a story that came out today about Rashford saying He's not signing a new contract because he's unsure about what United's future is going to be. It upset a lot of fans. I said myself, why are you questioning United's future when the way you've been playing lately, you'd be lucky to be playing for Charlton Athletic. If you look at Rashford's last 3 months, he's nowhere near being our number one striker. If you look at Rashford at his best, he can be our number one striker. So I think it's a shame that Rashford's going to play for England, because I do think he needs to come away from football for a month and just get on a beach, have a few pina coladas, watch a bit of Only Fools and Horses, and just relax for a little bit, get your focus back on football, because he's got burnout. And the trouble with burnout is if you don't get away and relax, you just continue to burn out. His foot's down on the pedal and there's no petrol, and until he pulls up, has a nice sleep at a travel lodge, fills the car up again, rests and drives again, he's just going to keep his foot down on a pedal that's got no petrol, and that's what he's doing. So at the moment, I'm not massively confident about Rashford, because I think his confidence has been affected as well. But that brings me to something I did want to say. Kartik Svensson, who will be our captain next year, Mark, from the USA. I think there's a good chance that Ashley Young will be the club captain. I don't think he'll start as many games, hopefully. So then I think United don't seem to respect the captaincy very much. So I think if Smalling's on the pitch, it'll be him. If Young's on the pitch, it'll be him. If De Gea's on the pitch, it'll be him. And then it might be Pogba if he's here. And then it might be Lindelof. But for me, it should be Lindelof. But I still don't think we actually have a leader at the club. Which is interesting, because if we bought De Ligt, I'd give it him straight away. Babyface Assassin Odegaard says Goldbridge swap deal Pogba, Odegaard plus Bale plus Carvajal. I think that's a very mixed bag. If you wanted to ask me what I'd get from Real Madrid, it would be Varane. Yeah, comfortably would be Varane. Suleiman Sabali says, what do you think about Hous at Lyon? 20-year-old complete box-to-box midfielder. He's been impressive. I mean, there's a lot of midfielders like that in France who are, they seem to produce a lot of these midfielders who are very sort of energetic, tenacious sort of players. But it's interesting because Jean-Michel Seri, who went from Nice to Fulham, was a player that I actually thought was quite good. What's going to happen to him now? He's had a crap season in the Premier League, and that's always the concern, isn't it? I think you need to scout players a little bit better than that. The best two midfielders that are available in France, as far as I'm aware at the moment, are Ndombele and Rabiot. Can United get anywhere near any of those? I don't know. Just very, very quickly as well, if you've not seen the United Stand versus Football Daily, that video went up this morning. I've put an eye in the top right-hand corner. You can give it a click and go and watch it. Very entertaining video. I saw red. We scored a few goals, but it was our first game for the United Stand FC, and a very, very good one, so give it a watch. Realistically, what do you think our midfield will look like next season, says Peter Hoon. Peter Hoon, I think that our midfield next season will see a lot of Matic, a lot of McTominay. And that's the only certainty I can give you, because we haven't got Herrera anymore. We don't know what Pogba's going to do. So at this point, Matic will be here, McTominay will be here. We'll see a lot of those. And for that reason, we will not be anywhere near third. We'll be fighting for fourth. Matic is crap. He's absolutely crap. But he will be playing games next season. McTominay, look, he gives a lot of effort, but I'm not even convinced I don't know whether Everton would pick him. So look, I've always been sceptical about McTominay. I think he shines because he plays in a crap team, but I don't actually really rate him that highly. So, but I think we'll see a lot of those two in the midfield. And yes, okay. I mean, just to talk about that for a moment, about what did I want to talk about? Well, look, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things I want to talk about here. Manchester United apparently looking to get rid of 3 Mourinho signings, which I want to talk about at the moment. But I did just take a note here to say this. I don't want to be the prophet of doom, but Temple of Doom's a very good film, isn't it? Indiana Jones, but probably a bit dated now. But things could get worse for Manchester United before they get better, and I think that is not being. Like I say, it's not about being a doom merchant. It's about being realistic. This could get worse before it gets better. If we did lose De Gea and Pogba this summer, and we've already lost Herrera, the new signings may take time to come in. So you suddenly do become very, the experience in that team, because new signings aren't experience in the way of United. You've got to give them a little bit of time. You lose Pogba and De Gea, you've got the experience is Lingard, Matic, Rashford, McTominay, Lindelof, Shaw, Young, Jones. Is that is that the core of a very good team? No, it's not, because Pogba and De Gea could go. So, and even if they stay, things could get worse for United no matter how good a summer we have. They could get worse before they get better. We have got a crap squad. We've got a weak squad. And we need to buy well. But it could get worse before it gets better. And I don't think we should have our blinkers on to think that that's not the case. We're a long way off. We're a long way off the people above us. And teams behind us have got momentum. Wolves pretty much have a team that they're just going to sprinkle extras on. Leicester the same. Watford the same, and Everton the same. They've got a stable manager, they've got a stable squad, and they're going to just add little bits on. We are probably in more danger of dropping down into that battle than moving up into the one above us. I'm hopeful that won't happen, but we do have to be a little bit careful and a little bit eyes wide open about what could happen. Which is why I think United might be tempted to go for a Gareth Bale or a Dybala, because yes, you can buy Daniel James and people like that, but it might take them time to settle in. And they might look for a big name, especially if Pogba goes. Personally, I wouldn't do it, but that may be why they do. De Gea will be our greatest signing of the year, says Gary Higgins, if we can get him to sign. If we can, I really hope that he does. It'd be I agree with you. I think if De Gea stays, it would be a huge boost. I know it's looking unlikely, but it really, really would be great if we can get him to sign that contract, because I know De Gea's had a bad year, but who hasn't? And Ricky916, go for a striker or give a chance to Greenwood. I don't know. I mean, it's such a good question from Ricky, and I'll throw it to the live comments. Would you buy another striker or play Greenwood? I want to see a lot of Greenwood. I really do want to see a lot of Greenwood, but I think by playing him, you almost have to accept that we might finish 6th again, because he will have games where he struggles. I mean, I don't think he played very well in the last... Well, he did play very, very well, but he should have scored at least 2 goals. So he'd have games like that where... technically you can see what he's all about and he's going to grow, but he would miss chances as well, because that's what happens when you're young. So it goes back to that patience again. How patient are we going to be in building a team? You've almost got to write next season off if you play Greenwood and you play Twansibi and you buy people like Daniel James. You've got to write it off and just say it's all about development. And I hope that our fans, if we do go down that route, can be patient, because we're all going to have to be. Nick P. Ed wants a star name and Ollie wants the work in progress types. With that in mind, I'm open to promote some youth into that mix too. I don't mind a star name, but I don't want the star name to be somebody who's over the hill in a year or two. I don't want Gareth Bale. I really don't want that sort of player. The name does not matter. Sanchez never settled, says Michael Van Gerwen. We need to do the homework on the players that we're going to bring in. Alexis Sanchez, if we'd done the homework, actually was a player on the decline. Gareth Bale, everybody knows, is a player on the decline. That's not the sort of player that we need to look at. Nice t-shirt, Mark. How do I get one, says Barry Mulhern. Yeah, it's available in this colour and it's available in black. Links in the video description. United stand merch through Kit Locker. So the summer is here now. We've got the polo. People have been asking us to do the polo shirts for ages, because everyone knows I like a polo shirt. So this is available in this colour and in black at the moment. Link in the video description. You can get United Stand FC tops and everything in there. But the polo shirts are in there as well. What I would say is this is a medium and it's quite tight on me. Not normally tight. So if you are... a little bit bigger than me, maybe go for a large. Where's the James announcement, says Matt Core. I think you're talking about Daniel James. I do think that Daniel James will sign for Manchester United. I'm going to do my next transfer daily. I'll do the Hotometer again. He's definitely going to be up there. There's nothing to hold this deal up if we're going to sign him. Swansea's season's over. Our season's over. I don't know what we're waiting for. So I would really not be surprised if that deal gets done early next week. I don't know whether it's going to get done early next week, but I really wouldn't be surprised. Pemba Sherpa says, what about playing Martial in number 9? Fan from Nepal. Yeah, you know what? Martial wants to play up front. I don't know whether Martial's got the physicality or the movement to do it, but until we start doing it, we'll never know. And the thing about Martial is he's so clinical. When you look at his stats, his conversion rate of chances is one of the best in the Premier League. So... he is definitely worth a try. And Jack Lee says, United were a finished club when they sacked a winner like Jose for a bloke who has got no pedigree at all. Reminds me of 2011 to 2013, LFC era, LFC fan. Yeah, but Jack, no United fan would agree with you about that. Mourinho was an absolute clown, and most Liverpool fans wanted him to stay because they knew he was a clown. So, I'm sorry, thanks for the contribution, but I can't agree with you on Mourinho. He was an absolute clown, and all he was missing was a big stupid wig, a round hooty nose, and some big oversized boots. But talking about Mourinho, nicely feeding it in. I read an article today that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to offload 3 Jose Mourinho signings, those 3 players being Eric Bailly, Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. What would your thoughts be on those? I mean, personally, I would probably keep one of those players, I don't know which one, and throw Matic in there. I'd love to get rid of Matic. I really would. I don't think Matic gets anywhere near the stick he deserves. I mean, a lot of people go, well, Pogba gets a lot of stick. Luke Shaw gets a lot of stick and I don't even get it. Rashford gets a bit of stick. Lingard gets a bit of stick. Martial gets a lot of stick. But Matic gets absolutely none. And I think it's because he's such a boring footballer that he gets away with it. No one even remembers the guy. But I would love him to go. Him plodding around the midfield with his big bloody attack legs. It just does my head in. Does my head in. And, why take one touch when you can take 50? He's like playing with a hot potato. How many touches can I take? Just why do you get rid of it? I really do. I would love to see Matic leaving United, but he will be here and he will be screwing up our midfield next season because he's past it. He's a donkey. He's too slow. And people fall into the trap with Matic that he has a good game, but they don't realise how slow he is. I remember against Spurs when we won 1-0 at Wembley and Dele Alli was running down the right hand side and Dele Alli's not even that quick. Matic is running alongside him and it looked like Matic was running backwards. He's so slow. Teams just pass their way through him. He's a bloody nightmare against teams like Man City and Liverpool with their quick passing because he's turning around. You may as well have one of those lorry reversing sounds. Beep, beep, beep. He's absolutely static and I would love him to go. Have to buy well this summer. No more excuses, says George Kyle. And Mark, I heard Leroy Sané is available. Thoughts, says Roy Amanta. I'm a massive fan of Leroy Sané. I like the way he glides across the ground. He reminds me a lot of Ryan Giggs, but there's no way he's going to go from Man City to United, unfortunately. I really do like him. We don't need a left winger, but if we could sign Sané, I would, because I think he's fantastic. I really, really do. But going back to the 3 players then, Eric Bailly, Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. I think Alexis Sanchez is so important that we get rid of him. Lukaku, it's important that we get rid of him as well. Those 2 players just don't fit in with what we're trying to do, but they will be taking game time because of the wages. So I'd love to see those 2 players go. Eric Bailly is a really weird one because I rate Eric Bailly. I think if Eric Bailly wasn't so reckless with his body, he's arguably the best centre-back we've got. Him or Lindelof are the best 2 centre-backs that we've got. Eric Bailly just gets injured a lot. But it's funny, isn't it, that we're offloading Eric Bailly, who is 10 times the defender Phil Jones is, but Phil Jones gets injured more. So we can't be getting rid of Eric Bailly because of his injury record, because we've just given a 5-year contract to the biggest sick note in our history. So I wouldn't get rid of Eric Bailly. I would get rid of Matic as the 3rd Mourinho signing to go. But I said it back in January. A lot of people disagreed with me. I said it back in January that I think Eric Bailly will leave United, and people are, oh no, he's our best centre-back. But I think there's something behind the scenes with Eric Bailly because he was dropped for a long time by Mourinho. He was dropped for a long time by Ole. He's just not, there's something about Eric Bailly. But then you see him in the dressing room and you see him with the players and he's he's the life and soul of the party. But he just seems to be something that they're not happy with. But there's people queuing up to sign Eric Bailly. Spurs quite like him. Arsenal like him. So I think there's an element of mistake with Eric Bailly, to be honest with you. I certainly think that we need to buy a better centre-back. And if you're selling Eric Bailly to bring in a better centre-back, that's fine. But yet again, if you're going to get rid of a centre-back to bring a better one in, surely you get rid of one of your crap ones. If you talk about our 4 centre-backs at the moment, you've got Lindelof, Bailly, Jones and Smalling. And I'd say in order of ability, it's Lindelof, Bailly, Smalling, Jones. So you get rid of your second best one to bring in a top quality one. Get rid of Jones or Smalling. Makes sense to me, but there we go. Mike OSFV says, Mark, what about Milinkovic-Savic? You know what? Milinkovic-Savic at Lazio has had a very good end to the season for Lazio. He had a bit of a sluggish start. Maybe that was something to do with the World Cup. He had 2 brilliant seasons before that. But I don't think Manchester United are anywhere near Milinkovic-Savic now. He was very much a target for Mourinho. I don't think he's the sort of player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would look at. So I think it starts and ends there, really. I think he was a Mourinho target. I don't think he was one for us, if I'm totally honest. I mean, some good news tonight as well. I don't know where you stood on this, but Man City beat Watford in the FA Cup 6-0. If Watford had won that game, United would have been playing Europa League qualifiers in around the 20th of July. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, sod it, I still rather that than City winning against Watford. But to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest, I knew Man City were going to win anyway, and I'm quite glad that they did. I did not want United. People think, well, the season starts early, but look at what it did to Burnley last year. They started the season badly, and the reason is, it's not as easy as, you're back in training on July the 1st, and then you're playing your first bloody competitive game on July the 20th. It's not long enough. That's the whole point of pre-season games. It's all about 45 minutes in the legs. Never, don't overexert yourself. If United had European qualifiers on the 20th of July or whatever, they would have had, they needed to be back in training in the middle of June, because you've got to work towards that. And if you overhype it to do it, from July the 1st to 20th, you're trying to really push through your fitness thing. It hurts you in the main season. So Man City are the best team in England at the moment, and I'm glad that they won, because it means that we can have a proper pre-season now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he wants is what I want, and I'll tell you what, 100% he wanted Watford not to win that game today. He did not want to be that tour to be cancelled halfway through. He did not want to be playing Europa League qualifiers. What he wants to do with that team from July the 1st is beast it, get it absolutely fit, and you can't do that if you're playing games 2.5 weeks later. So it's a good thing for us. I understand why people didn't want Man City to win, but it is a good thing for us. We did not want to be playing those qualifiers. Balaji SK says, would you consider Berbatov as director of football? He has a sports management degree and coaching badges. He has a swagger and right attitude about him. Yeah, you know what, I would, but I still think we should be going for the best. And in Rano TV, Mark, if we get rid of Matic, our midfield depth will be so thin as Herrera has gone, and Pereira looking like he will go as well as the Pogba situation. I don't see us signing 3 midfielders. I agree with you on that, Imrano, but I don't see Matic being a squad player next year. I see him being a starter, and that's the problem. I don't mind Matic staying as a backup who plays 10 games in a season, but I think he'll be a starter, and that's the problem. The thing is, we should never, ever, ever, ever have let Herrera go, and we all know that. Thoughts on Cillessen from Barcelona, who is linked, says Jason Cleverly. I saw this story, and I've just not given it any weight on it. I don't believe it. I think it's a load of crap, to be honest with you there. I really do. Because I think that Cillessen isn't a very good goalkeeper. That's why he's not playing in goal for Barcelona. He's as a replacement for De Gea, I'd probably rather go with Henderson. I really would. And he's older than De Gea as well, Cillessen. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I know if De Gea goes, any goalkeeper we get is going to be a step down. But I personally would rather go with Henderson or Donnarumma. Go with the next De Gea. Don't go with a B-Tech De Gea who's older than him. I don't want that. I don't want one of these older goalkeepers. If De Gea goes, go and get a replacement who can be the next De Gea. I think that's what we're trying to do as a team. So that's what we should do with the goalkeeper. Unless you're going to get someone like Oblak, which I don't think we will, I would go with a younger keeper and let them make mistakes and let them, do what De Gea did, if I'm totally honest with you. I would keep Bay and sell Sanchez and Lukaku, says Enta Simba. He's really good, says Timo. Oh yeah, he's that good. He doesn't even play for the team that he's at. He's a reserve goalkeeper. We may as well play Romero. Who do you think will win the ICC World Cup, says Joy Deep Dave. Got no idea, so I'll just say England. Romero is a great keeper, says Paul H22. Varane in the deal for Pogba would be great, says Oli Ogbogbo. And what's happening with Rashford, says Jupiter Production. I don't think there's anything happening with Marcus Rashford. He will be here next season, without a question and a doubt. He will be here next season, and hopefully he will improve. Anana for 35 million, says Sahil Verma. Yeah, I think I would much rather go with him. I would much rather go with him, to be honest with you. What about Koulibaly, says Siddiq Davish. The thing about Koulibaly is there are Italian games this week and next week, so the Koulibaly deal won't happen until June anyway, if it does happen. Which is why I think I said this last night, so I don't like repeating myself, but this is what I mean. It's like we've got to do deals quickly. We've got to get a couple of deals done before the end of June, because a lot of deals can't be done till June because of the European leagues not ending till the end of May. You've got Champions League, you've got the international tournament. So a lot of deals can't be done until June, mid-June, end of June, because of holidays and stuff like that. And United need to move quickly. We need to do 5 deals in. We might need to do 6 or 7 out. That's a lot of deals to do. The transfer window closes at the start of August. Most of July we're away on tour. June is the month. Are you going to do 10 deals in June? Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to do. So I think we need to use these 2 weeks. But you can only use these 2 weeks on certain types of deals. And those types of deals are English deals. These deals are Daniel James from Swansea because their season's over and our season's over. Declan Rice from West Ham. If we're in for him, West Ham have finished playing, we've finished playing. They're the deals that we should be focusing on in the next 2 weeks. If we are going for younger British talent who are hungry, let's get those players in now, and June can be about the European players that we're looking at, whether it's Ajax players, whether it's Napoli players, whoever. But we need to get some deals done because otherwise we're going to give ourselves too much to do in too little time. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? How many deals can we get done in the time that we've got? Which I think is a limit. There is a limit to that. Balaji SK, Van der Sar is doing an executive education program at Harvard Business School. I'd pay the 40 million we were planning to pay for Poch for him. Yeah, well, Van der Sar would be good. And George Kyle, nothing more damning than the fact that the Chuckles and Young are our longest serving players. We are pioneers in preventing deforestation of the Deadwood. George, you're spot on. I don't know why we've never bothered to get rid of this Deadwood, but we've been talking about this every summer for the last 4 or 5. We just don't remove the Deadwood. And I don't actually think that people like Eric Bailly, Ander Herrera, Pogba, De Gea, if they go, that's 4 players gone and none of them are Deadwood, which is the worst thing of all. We'd be able to sit there in August and say, well, we sold 4 or 5 players. But if they're players like that we don't want to actually go, the Deadwood still remains. So you're even worse off, aren't you? This is what I mean. It could get worse before it gets better. Because Herrera shouldn't have gone. I don't think Bailly should go. Pogba and De Gea could go. That's 4 players that we don't want to sell. And then we'll probably keep Jones, Young, Smalling, Matic, you know. It's the wrong way around. It's the wrong way around. And that's the enormity of the job that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has at Manchester United. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody. Remember to watch the United Stand FC game. Click the eye in the top right-hand corner. Give it a watch. I did see red. The red missed. Apologies were made at the time. I don't need to do any more. But I have got a 1-match ban, so I can't play in the next game. Not only remove, we give them new deals, says Faye's Mood. Rashford's brother, an agent, said that it was a fake news about what Rashford had apparently said. Apparently Rashford had said to United that he doesn't want to commit at the moment because he doesn't know what the future's going to be. I don't care whether it's fake news or not. The bottom line is Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard, the rest of them, they're not in anybody's good books at the moment, and they don't deserve to be. And I think they think a little tweet or a little Insta post about what they're going to do next season makes everything all right. I don't want to hear it. What I want to see is next season you actually do play well. But my issue with a lot of these players, even with Anthony Martial, who I like, if they start the season off well and play well for 2 months, I'll be thinking, when's the dip? And that's the problem with these set of players. I don't trust them now. Even if, we'll all love it if we have a great 2 or 3 months to the start of the season, but I'll still be thinking in my back of the head, when's the dip? Because we had 3 months brilliantly under Ollie, and then we had the biggest dip ever. So that's my concern with these players. Jesse Lingard could start the season like he had that 2 months a couple of years ago, where he's Messi Lingard again, but I'll still be like, yeah, do it all season, mate. Stop dancing in the corner flag, stop putting the dancers from the bloody dressing room, do it all season, and then we'll talk. And that's how I feel about these players now. And I think as a fan base, we do need to be like that. Let's not get drawn in by the odd good result, the odd good performance. They've let us down big time. We had 3 months of brilliance this season, and they took it down to the sewers. So as far as I'm concerned now, I'll love it when we win next season, but I am going to keep banging the drum. They've got to do it every week, all season. Man City and Liverpool don't seem to have a problem with it. Spurs are very consistent as well. So why can't our players be? I don't want this bloody Millie Rock shit when we beat one team. I want it over a season. And that's my level now with these players. I'm happy for them to stay, but words are cheap. Actions are expensive, and it needs to be over a whole season. That's what Rashford's got to do. It's what Martial's got to do. It's what Lingard's got to do. It's what Pogba's got to do. Shaw's got to do. All these players that I think can do it, they've got to do it every single week. It's not about posting a tweet because you've had a good game all bloody season. Everyone else seems to manage it. What about Werner, says Ollie Overland. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Timo Werner, but as far as I'm concerned, I thought he was going to Bayern Munich. But we'll see. We could be getting extra transfer money if Zaha is sold due to sell-on clause, which is why he could be linked to him to boost the price. Is Connor right? Yes. Yeah, I think we get 20%, don't we? Or 25%, which is good. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Would you swap Martial for Sane, says Matthew James? I think that's probably one of the toughest questions I've ever had. I applaud that question, Matthew. Would I swap Martial for Sane? Well, everyone knows Anthony Martial's my favourite player at United because he's the only player who gets me off the edge of my seat. But in all honesty, I think Sane would get me off my seat more often. So yes, I would. And I know that's betrayal, and I know it's traitorous, whatever the word is. But that's sort of how I feel about the United players at the moment. I think they've lost my trust. So my loyalty to them, I think if you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I'd have said never. And people might have said, well, Sane's better than Martial. I'd say, yeah, but Martial's a United player. I'm not gonna betray my loyalty to him. But I think they've betrayed the fans, the United players this season. So if you're asking me, would I swap Martial for Sane? Yeah, because I think Sane's a better left winger. And Martial's very inconsistent. So yeah, I would. I don't like saying that, but I think that's what the team have done to us. You know, if somebody said to me, would you swap Aubameyang for Rashford? Again, 3 or 4 months ago, I said no. He's Manc born and bred. He's come through the youth setup. He's a lot younger. He's got the great potential. I'll stick with Rashford, thanks. No, I would swap him with Aubameyang because I've seen what Aubameyang's done for Arsenal, and I've seen what Aubameyang is. And again, you know, would I swap Pogba for De Bruyne? Yes, I would, because De Bruyne is ridiculously consistent. And that's the sad thing. But the players, I wish the players would listen to this, because most of us wouldn't have swapped any of them for any rival player 3 or 4 months ago. But how they've betrayed our trust with their lazy, bad attitude, this is how low down the trust is with those players now. So I would swap them for rival players, because I see those rival players playing professionally week in, week out. And I see our players just not doing it. They can get this trust back. They don't need to feel like it's a kick in the teeth, like, you know, we're not proper fans because we don't support the players. It's not about that. If anything, it's because we love the club so much. They can get this trust back. They've just got to start playing every game. I mean, I played at Old Trafford. I was talking to Flex about this morning, and it's so true. And I wasn't going to say this because I think it might come across the wrong way. But when I played at Old Trafford on Wednesday, it was a life dream to do that, okay? And a lot of people over the last 2 days have said, oh, you're so lucky to play on Old Trafford. It must have been amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But you know what? I don't feel fulfilled. It's really weird, because if you've never played on the Old Trafford pitch, it's a dream. You know, you think it's a dream. The first thing I did when I went on the pitch, if you watch the vlog, is I went up to the Stretford end goal and I kicked it with the back of my boots for superstition. And I put the ball in the back of the net of it because it was just superstition. And I loved it. And I absolutely loved the day. But it's like a drug. I tell you what, it's like a drug. It is, now I've played on it, I want to do it again. And I want to do it again and again and again. Once is not enough. I'm absolutely in love with that experience. I want to keep doing it. You know, I can always say I've done it, but I want to keep doing it. I can't for the life of me understand how United players don't get that every single time they are fortunate enough to pull the shirt on. And remember, I did it in an empty stadium. That is a packed out stadium in a Manchester United shirt at Old Trafford. I wouldn't be able to sleep all week. And people say, oh, you get used to it. You don't get used to that. That is just... For me, I just want to keep doing it and doing it again. And I'll probably never get to do it again. But it's an amazing feeling. And it sucks you in. But these players obviously don't get that feeling. We need players in the shirt who get that feeling I got and get that feeling you would get. Because that's passion. That's caring. That's like you will run and run and run. I mean, I played for 90 minutes on that pitch. I haven't played 90 minutes in years. But I would have played for 180 minutes. You would have to drag me off. We ain't got a team that wants to do that. Do you think Ollie in his mind will give Sanchez the benefit of the doubt to see if the summer will rejuvenate him, seeing him as he's difficult to sell? Says Eno Chilwell. He might have to, mate. He might have to, but hopefully not. There's a lot of positivity that Alexis Sanchez will be moved on by Manchester United. And I hope that will happen. Dean Henderson, Jacko Beans, I think hopefully will be on loan at Sheffield United next season. He'll be very busy on loan there, and I think in the Premier League it's a great bit of his development. I don't want Henderson to be at United sat on the bench next season. I want him to play. It's a bit like Twansibi. So yeah, hopefully Henderson will be at Sheffield United next season, and it'll be playing week in, week out. I'd love Lozano at the club. Whoever said that, I would absolutely love him. Locks like City overtake your history with their oil money, says Harry Truman. How? What? They're nowhere near taking over our history. What are you on about? I think they've took over Huddersfield's history. Haven't they won more titles than them yet? I don't know. But they're nowhere near United or Liverpool, and they won't ever be. I would take Lozano, Pataris, cool, yes I would. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video. I love tonight's show, I love the Saturday night show because it's very interactive. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, smash a like on the video. Make sure you go and watch United Stand FC. There's no match of the day tonight, is there? So you can watch United Stand FC against Football Daily, our very first game. We have got another one next Saturday, so that video will be going up very soon as well. Remember, if you want to get hold of the United Stand merch, it is the summer now, so we've got the polo shirts as well as the United Stand FC kits. The link is in the video description for that. Get them while they're hot. I'll see you all in the morning. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, drop a like, and have a good evening. Fancy. Why did I finish with a nod? Cheers, everyone. Top show.